Welcome to the Business Collective Podcast with Terry Fletcher. Weekly conversations and insights on how to go from employee to consultant in any business field where your years of expertise can be showcased. Take your career to the next level, entrepreneurship. Now here's your host, nationally recognized healthcare consultant, speaker, and author, Terry Fletcher.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Collective Podcast. My name is Terry Fletcher. So today, for you entrepreneurs out there, there is a concept I want to talk to you about, and it's called content marketing. And one of the things that I think some entrepreneurs miss is that content marketing nowadays, what this is content marketing is a strategic marketing approach. And it focuses on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience. So who's your target? And then ultimately to drive profitable customer action. So instead of pitching your products or services traditionally that marketing does, you are providing them truly relevant and useful content to your prospects and customers so you can help them solve their issues, and they'll want to hopefully then buy something from you, or now you're trying to monetize really your business. And so when we get into talking about content marketing, what is that specific? Okay, so does your content that you're producing specifically appeal to your target audience? So what are your content marketing goals? And again, I'm always talking about monetary value. So if you want not only success, but sustained success, then this is a question that you should be visiting and revisiting very often in your business. So every business will have vastly different content marketing strategies. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So whether they involve blogging about benefits of a certain product or infographics that people can share via social media to strengthen your brand awareness, something to that effect, you could be blogging. These strategies basically may vary. Goals should be all the same, though, to garner attention, to build trust for your brand's marketing message, and to bring people to your place of business, whether you're online working with e-commerce, so basically everything, all your sales are done through a digital platform, or if you are a place of business that actually has a brick and mortar store, or if you are trying to deal with selling services, it doesn't matter. What you're trying to do here is generate leads that eventually turn into customers and then eventually turns into monetary value and a revenue stream. So all content marketing strategies should have a few common elements. And so I'm going to give you 5. Here I am with my lists again. But this is what's worked for me and shaped my success with my own company. And I should say companies. So now I've owned a couple, and my current company is absolutely flourishing in Terry Fletcher Consulting. And so probably the best year I've ever had, even during the pandemic. And so I just want to let you know what's working for me. And hopefully this can help you as you're trying to figure out how to push out your information. So before creating your content strategy, the first thing is you want to create a sales funnel. So pull together a sales funnel for each piece of content. That can be a blog, that can be an infographic, or a landing page. So create a product or service that has awareness for prospective customers. Also make sure that you have a good website. You have to have a website. And I have a person that is very reasonable and does a great job if you're looking for a website master, a website host. And so let me know about that. But you really have to have a place where people can land. So the rule of thumb when you are dealing with content marketing is that you have 30 seconds to capture someone's attention. The more respect and trust you can garner immediately through past client testimonies or awards or any kind of recognitions, that's also better as well. But once that door is open, they'll want to evaluate your product or service. So either tell stories of other client success or bring the most positive purpose in the simplest form. And so making sure that you have something that is also they can either read or visualize, but they need to you need to offer something that represents an experience for them that can generate back to either your website or your landing platform. Finally, they'll need to make a decision on a purchase. So everything beforehand prompted them to this position. Now, what can you offer them? So make the pitch valuable by offering whatever guarantees you can provide. And this is where I also build a platform when I do a marketing piece for a webinar series. Let's say, for example, I have one out there right now that's for sale. I make sure it's in blog form because I want them to read about what the content is, not just look at a bullet point of a flyer. So I want them to see what is going to happen, have an argument for why they should attend, and then how it's going to help them and what is the problem that they're identifying with right now and how can this help them in the future. Which leads us to number 2, understand your target audience. You simply can't start a content marketing strategy without knowing who your target audience is. So the best route to learning who they are is through intense research of your top competitors, along with listening to customers you already have and trust most. So visit not only their websites, your competitors' websites, what I'm talking about, but also any third-party publications that they were maybe featured in, or if competitors have case studies, look at them closely, and then check out their social media platforms as well and tap into their audience. I'm always looking at different social media platforms for not only competitors, but also for potential clients in the future as well, and just understanding that target audience. So since I'm in healthcare, I'm trying to check out and look and see what their not just their platform, but what their outward voice is. What are they trying to get for their current customers? And then what do they need to fill some of those gaps as far as service-oriented things that they could possibly use? See, one thing for me is that I am almost 100% referral. And that takes a lot of years. I've been in the industry over 30 years, but I see a lot of people, I saw this on LinkedIn today actually, where somebody says, I have a brand new billing service, so I would love any help with you sending me clients. I was actually mortified when I saw that, and I actually had to close the post because for me, somebody I don't know, doesn't have a proven track record, and on, I could just keep, saying what I would not refer to that person. You have to be able to put something out there that makes sense. And somebody just out there saying, send me clients, why would someone ever do that? And so you have to have a reputation first, build a platform, and know your target audience. That person is going to have people shaking their head all day long saying, no way, good luck, but that's not going to happen. Also, when I try to look at some things with my customers, I send out a newsletter. I also send out an email, and I just basically want to let them know if there's any new happenings in healthcare so that they can basically don't have to go research it themselves. And I find that a lot of my clients never knew certain things were coming into play, or there was a new alert, let's say from Medicare or one of the payers out there. And that was really something important I thought they should know today. Next would be appeal to your audience. So every piece of your content marketing strategy should be appealing. So the visual elements and the chart. Videos a lot of times will trump other media platforms if you're targeting a younger audience, but they do take time to execute well. So make sure you've got a good video. One thing I'm actually a little nervous about tomorrow is my town or my city in Laguna Niguel, California. They are going to spotlight me as a female business owner in my city, which is very humbling and just so appreciative. And so they're doing a 2-minute video on my business and coming to my office tomorrow. So I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm excited for it because they've already shown me some of the graphics and how this is going to look, and the fact that my office building is in a really nice business center and great, landscaping, and my office is really nice. So meaning that it's welcoming, approachable, and the colors are calming. And so I'm really excited for that and just to see what they can come up with. But when you're looking at the visual elements and what somebody might see, it's going to be important to make sure that you have things that will be pleasing to people. So understanding statistics, understanding charts, infographics. I know that one thing that I think is important for the older crowd that you're maybe trying to appeal to. So millennials love videos because they just can't seem to keep their attention. And I apologize for those of you that are millennials or follow into that, because it's not a negative thing. It's just how it is. I think because of all the digital platforms, you're always on your phone, you're always on your tablets or on the computer, and just the information flow, always on social media. And what we did back in the day, for those of us that first started out in business, is we read articles, we read books, we read newspapers. Remember what those are? Some of you probably never seen a newspaper. And so those are things that I always think about, but depending on my target audience. Because for me, for example, one thing I remember is when I worked for somebody else, now this is a while ago, and you clicked on something when the internet was just coming out and a video came up, you didn't want anybody to hear it because you're sitting at your desk. Now I'm not really sure how employers feel about that. You wanted to read an article. Well, I get annoyed now when I try to read a content of an article and all of a sudden it's a video. I don't always want to see your video. Sometimes I just want to read the elements of your article. So know your audience, because make sure that it's creative for sure, but it's there to educate, entertain, and add value. Now, another one is a call to action. So some businesses create a thorough content marketing strategy, but many, likely, potential clients and customers pass because they forget to include calls to action. So this is an easy way to communicate with your organization in your material, whether it's by email, phone, or visiting your website through external publications. Actually, some companies do this on purpose. Have you ever had a problem with Amazon with some kind of an order, or let's say you use PayPal and you're trying to figure out how to contact them? It is really hard to figure out how to contact somebody. I had somebody that fraudulently used my Costco account the other day, and I could not figure out how to get Costco a message without hanging online, I should say, for a couple of hours, which I don't want to do. And so it was a nightmare trying to figure it out. So I had to basically go out to my credit card and dispute it that way. And so some places actually don't want you to get a hold of them. But hopefully you, as a entrepreneur, small business starting out, trying to make that transition, you're trying to generously, throughout your content, make sure that your target person that you want to have purchase something from you is going to be able to get a hold of you, either through email, through a phone number, something that they can get through to you pretty quickly. Also, be ready to pivot. I must have said that 100 times since we've been talking about this, but you want to make sure, because sometimes market changes often, that we want to be able to understand that content strategy that worked in the spring may not work this fall, or may not work when something comes up that you're thinking, oh my gosh, that target person or that target audience isn't the same audience. So constantly revise what you're keeping as your call to action and keep it strong. And then don't skimp on content creation. So never skimp on that. Once you put together the optimal content strategy, get that content created. If you're seeking a writer to craft your content for you, for your blog, if you're not a writer, or social media platforms, don't hire a hack. Sometimes, I'm sure you've heard, you get what you pay for. Research and find a respected content creator who has experience and proven success, and always get references. Do your due diligence. But any kind of medium, same with graphic designer. The adage of you get what you pay for speaks bounds of truth. So the beginning stages, make sure that I know you're going to be creating a lot of that content in-house like I did, but sometimes outsourced material can go to the wrong people. So you may not have the money to hire a digital marketing agency, but for example, if you're thinking of starting a podcast or you're thinking of doing anything like that, there are very inexpensive ways to find the right person. Fiverr, Fiverr, that's a good way, because that can give you a intro and exit voice, and you can actually hear their voice before you even give them a script to read. And so there's a lot of digital areas that you can look for that content strategy. But as entrepreneurs, we have priorities that range from financial to administrative to marketing, and we can't lose focus on any element of that, especially a content marketing strategy, because this typically gets pushed aside. And to build your customer base, especially as you're getting started and you're trying to get that monetary value, content marketing, again, it's what you're trying to bring to your brand awareness that is something the target customer looks at, hears, reads, or it prompts them, that's the word I love, to go to your website, to go to your landing site, and basically start paying you to do what you love. And so look at content marketing. Otherwise, you're going to have a really tough time sustaining your business, and revisit it often. Can't tell you about that enough. All right, everyone, have a great day and a great rest of your week. And thank you for listening to the Business Collective podcast. Talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Business Collective podcast. Drop us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website and blog at www.business-collective.com.